What's going on, people? What's really good? It's your boy Marv Lack, and this is the Nerds in the Hood. Folks, I missed y'all. Know it's been a little brief hiatus. For those of y'all who was paying attention on my IG, I wrote to the world that I had the flu. Flu season's in full effect. Y'all already know this change in the weather, especially for us people out here in the tri-state area like myself. I'm a New Yorker, you know what I mean? Caught that sickness, you know. Thankfully, I'm okay now. I'm a little better enough to do episodes for you. And the only thing that sucks is when you're recording a show like mine, you try to keep up with today's trends and you try to keep up with what's going on in pop culture, what's going on TV shows, movies, anime, all types of stuff, you know? So it's not easy. It's not easy. So I can't do everything by myself. But at the same time, I'm going to get what I feel is right for me to talk about for a show that I want to do. So with that being said, I want to thank y'all who wrote and sent your prayers and your well wishes to me recovering as soon as I can. Thankfully, your boy is all right. I didn't get a haircut in a minute, so got to keep the caps on for a little while. But I pulled through, and just in time for the Christmas and New Year's season, holiday season, and Kwanzaa. Can't forget about that. Anyway, just wanted to get that out the way. As usual, make sure you like, share, and subscribe here at Nerds of the Hood. Comment on anything, anytime, really. It doesn't matter to me. I will write back. As soon as I see the comment, I'm writing back. Anyway, I want to talk about a show that just recently wrapped up its first season because it just got renewed for a second season due to its high ratings. And it was near and dear to the heart of every nerd in the hood because it was about video games. And that show is called Secret Level. Now, if you haven't seen this show, I suggest you do. There is a reason why. This is a show about video games. However, this is not necessarily based on any of the video game's actual worlds and universes. There are Easter eggs and references and mentions and relations, but it's not going word for word, scene for scene, you know what I'm saying? Moment for moment. It's not doing any of those things. So it's not like how we looked at, I don't know, let's say like Detective Pikachu or even The Last of Us. It's not going by that route where it's like we have to sit there and go, well, they didn't do that in the game, so why are they doing that now? And to me, I'm okay with that. If you're going to loosely base something on any title, any work of fiction, that's fine. As long as you're not telling me that it is like shot for shot, scene for scene, verbatim, stuff like that. As long as you don't tell me that, don't lead me on with that, I'm cool with it. Just make something good. Just make something entertaining, make something compelling, and I can watch it. You feel me? But I don't like when people try to tell me that it's shot for shot and it's not shot for shot. The Last of Us, for the most part, did its best to be shot for shot, and it ended up being a good project. And people were on board with it, and they liked it. Nobody can get mad at that. But the Mario Brothers movie was not shot for shot. It just featured references and Easter eggs and moments that you could be proud of, that you could be happy of, and the movie was still good nonetheless. So, again, those are two different sequences and scenarios and examples, but they both set what I'm trying to say. Just give me a good story. That's all I want. Give me a good story and we'll be all right. Now, this show recently came out about 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. It's done 15 short stories. So it's an anthology series. And it's 15 short stories. However, out of the 15 short stories, 14 of them are based basically on video games, on actual video game titles. One of them just being more of a homage to PlayStation, which was actually, I feel like it was supposed to be all video games, but it was definitely more PlayStation. And I actually like that. We had a lot of different voice actors chime in Some of them actually recognizable celebrities like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Kevin Hart. But at the same time, it was they did their part. They weren't bad at it. They did their part. Actually, big shout out to Kevin Hart because I believe he had his daughter on that. He did the last episode of season 1. And I believe he had his daughter on there too, and she was the main character. And they really did a good job. Shout out to him, man. Like if I had my kids, when I see people like Beyonce or him or even LeBron James, like if I had my kids old enough to be in the business, I'm gonna put them in the business. Because now I can show them what I did and help get them away from the mistakes that I did. And that's where they at. You know what I'm saying? Get them in there, let them have fun, all that good stuff. I like that. I like that for them. So they did the one, Kevin Hart did the PlayStation 1, where he played like a random robot, which kind of looked like one of the Astrobots. And his daughter played just a random girl that was like driving around. She was like a carrier, just riding around on a bike. And they had different, like Kratos showed up at one point. Sackboy showed up. The Colossus showed up. Helldivers was pulling up. It was different types of PlayStation characters. You saw the PlayStation shapes in the background. From the squares, the triangles that you see on the controllers. It was pretty cool. And I think I like that because it's also PlayStation's 30th anniversary. Signs I'm getting old. But it's also PlayStation's 30th anniversary. 30 years in the game. And they've made nonstop hits, nonstop consoles. So big shout out to them for that. The guys who made this are, if I'm right, this was, Brooke Bolander. Brooke Bolander wrote it. He wrote some of it, like a bunch of different people wrote some of the short stories. So let me not go that far as to say that, because then y'all gonna be looking at me like, he ain't write all of it. He just did some of it. But I know some of the guys, some of the directors were some of the people that did Love, Death, and Robots, which is also another anthology series. Excuse me. So that kind of shows you what kind of messages you were getting in this program, which was basically messages about, well, death and the afterlife and repetition, which is a lot of things that we go through in video games today. To this day, we try not to get taken out. We try to keep all of our lives, and we have to repeat certain things in order to actually beat the game that we want to beat. So I actually was cool with those messages. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not going to say this was a perfect show, but I am going to say that this was a good show. Let's just, cat's out of the bag. Let's just go ahead and jump to the chase. It was valid. You know, we have our usual rating system. I'll keep explaining it until I can get a board here or something. Just give me time. I just moved into a new place. But valid means this is great. This is a great show. It was aight means it was aight. It was okay. And not as saying it means trash. But this is valid. There's only one thing that stopped it from being probably like Super Fuego kind of vibes. And it almost made it just okay. And that was the fact that the runtime for a lot of these was not very long. I think it was only about like probably 3 or 4 of them that were 10 minutes. So by the time the episode really started like finding its groove and warming up, it just ended. The Sifu one probably could have been a bit more fire, but they just told as quick of a story as they could. The Mega Man one could have probably been the best episode of the whole series, but they just wanted you to get an idea of how Mega Man was created, which I don't think anybody really needed the show to explain that. I think we wanted an episode where Mega Man was already putting in work, but it was still a good episode. The Spelunky episode, which to me, I didn't really care too much for that episode, but I understood the message. Which is like, no matter how many times you try, learn something new, stuff like that. That one probably could have stayed 10 minutes. But I think there was one more that was 10 minutes. I don't fully remember which one off the top of my head. But the 10-minute ones hurt the show from being like close to a 10. Because it actually stopped. Like the show could have built off of that. Because the other ones that were 20 minutes, some of them were really good episodes. The Unreal Tournament one, the Exodus one, Crossfire. Even though a lot of people didn't like Crossfire, I don't know why, but Crossfire, a lot of those episodes was fire because they had 20 minutes to build like an actual TV show with no commercials. So those ones were the ones that was able to hit. And the animation on all of them though was chef's kiss. Oh my gosh. The animation looked like you were playing an actual video game. They look like a lot of the stuff that you see on next gen consoles today. And they almost look kind of lifelike, which was kind of crazy too. I know they've evolved with the motion capture and stuff like that, but a lot of the graphics were really beefed up, next level presentation, and I have to give them props for that. But like I said, the one thing to me that held it back was the runtime on a lot of the episodes. If you didn't want to go 30 episodes, 30 minutes, that's fine. 20, 25, cool. But 9? Nah. 9 was no way. It was not happening to me. Anyway, so if you didn't know by now, these were the video games that they were all based on. So the first episode was Dungeons and Dragons, which not so much of a video game. It's more of a excuse me. It's more of a board game kind of vibe. But hey, it's still part of the world. We had Dungeons and Dragons. Sifu was the second episode, which again, if it wasn't 9 minutes, could have been a better episode. New World, which had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, which was obvious by his voice, which was about respawning, which it was a funny, heartwarming tale. Wasn't my favorite episode, but it was funny and charming. 4, Unreal Tournament, which to me was one of the best episodes of the series. Because it was almost on some Terminator-ish. And at the same time, these robots was putting in the work once they started adjusting and understanding the flow of battle. That's one of the episodes, if you're going to skim through them, because no episode is connected to the other episode. So you could really it's not like the What If anthology series where it's like they kind of come back to each other. No episode is really connected to either one. So you could watch any one of them in any order that you want. So episode 5, Warhammer 40,000, also my choice for one of the best episodes of the series. It was very good. It was action orientated. The action was really good. They took full advantage of the graphics, and I loved it. Episode 6, Pac-Man. This one I need a moment. This was the most divisive episode across all of social media, all over the world, because it didn't really have so much to do with Pac-Man, but more of like it tried to create its own lesson about repetition and the process of life and death, which was like, okay, I guess. And then the Pac-Man kind of came at the end. So I guess they wanted you to believe Pac-Man was more of a bad guy than a good guy. And they made references to eating Ghost. It was all over the place. But apparently the episode is based on an actual, or it is supposed to be an actual trailer for its own game coming out later next year, I believe. Which is supposed to have a Metroidvania kind of game style, which is basically like a 2D runner scroller kind of game. Don't know how that's going to pan out, but we'll come back and check that out on Nerds in the Hood. But that was the weirdest episode. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst, but it was the weirdest. Write in the comments, tell me what you thought that Pac-Man episode was. We could talk about it. I would love to hear some opinions, thoughts, and theories. Help me make better sense of it, because I don't want to steer nobody wrong. But in my opinion, I just thought that they tried to make it seem like that Pac-Man was trying to find a way out, but it was using Ghost to get out. I could be wrong. It was in a maze in itself and it was lost. It was a lot, but I needed a minute for that one. Crossfire. Some say that this was actually the worst episode in the series. I didn't see why. It almost felt like I was watching an actual TV show. Maybe that's why. But to me, the graphics were fire, and it was just going over like I didn't really need a lesson on some of these. I just wanted to see a really good cutscene. That's all I wanted. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. If y'all wanted to learn a lesson, this was the show for y'all. But for me, I just wanted a good cutscene. Give me a good cutscene, we all right. I would have gave this show a perfect 10 if you just gave me a bunch of cutscenes. So Armored Core, number 8, also a good episode. That one had Keanu Reeves in it. It was kind of like watching some really high-paced Gundam fights. So I was cool with that too. Let's see. 9, The Outer Worlds. This one was a sleeper hit, but it also made me feel bad because it was the simpiest story ever. It was about a dude that was so in love with a chick, he was willing to follow her basically to the outer worlds to just be near her. And she was so focused on just getting herself to the next level herself that at the end of the day, it didn't really work out in what she wanted. She was like, am I the bad guy? And he was just a simp that he was like, nah, you good. You keep doing you. And he was going to snitch on her and everything. Because my man's volunteered to basically give his body to science, lost his body to science, majority of his body, then was going to rat on Shorty because he knew that Shorty was wilding. Then when he saw her again and she was doing good with herself, he was like, man, I ain't going to snitch on you, baby girl. I'm out. And I know some of y'all going to be in the comments like, that's not what it was about. Tell me what y'all saw. Because I saw a man simping and he ain't getting nothing out of it, especially what he probably wanted. And at the end of the day, he just went back to working when he was working with less of his body. Now he's just a straight half robot or probably full robot. Anyway, but that episode was good. Number 10, Mega Man. It was too short, but it was an amazing episode. Number 11, Exodus. Also a good episode because is that the one with the dude? Yep, the dude searching for his daughter. Oh my gosh, such a great episode. What was the guy's name? Was it Michael Bach? He was a great actor. He did such a good job in that. Anyway, also a good episode. Felt like it could have been his own sci-fi series. 12, Spelunky, like I said, too short. Didn't really need it. To me, that might have been probably one of the worst episodes. Concord, number 13. Also another dope episode because it felt like I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy. 14, Honor of Kings. This was also so this was probably, if I had to pick 3 dope episodes, it was probably these 3. Honor of Kings. No, 4. Honor of Kings, Mega Man, Armored Core. Damn, now I gotta make start 5. Armored Core, Honor of Kings, Mega Man, Warhammer 40,000, and Unreal Tournament. Because this was a really kind of trippy vibe, and I still think that the guy he was facing was himself in the future, but I thought that was mad dope. And last but not least was the episode Playtime, which was basically just them kind of giving homage to PlayStation, and it's starring Kevin Hart, and I'm pretty sure that was his kid. But both of those are really, really good episodes. And yeah, go see the show, man. Go see the show. There was nothing about it I could say that was really negative, but I can say that season 2, make all the episodes just good running times. Make them 20 minutes or more. People will watch. And if you have to, these shows better be so good. Some of them got to get a spinoff. I would watch, like I just said, I would watch an Exodus spinoff. I would watch an Honor of Kings spinoff. I would watch some of these because they were that good in just the 20 minutes that imagine what you can do with more, with a season of these. I know stuff costs money and all that stuff, but just explore that possibility. Amazon and whoever else is making this show. Shout out to everybody who worked on it. But this is a valid show. You guys need to watch this. Hit me up in the comments. Let's talk about what's going on with this Pac-Man episode. I need to make better sense of this. If you are against me on the Spelunky or the Outer Worlds episodes, let me know about that too. But I just think we have something here in the video game world with a show like this where you didn't have to strongly base it on the actual game. You just had to find little Easter eggs and make it all scramble itself out. Anyway, it's your boy Marv Lat. I'm going to catch y'all next time. Hopefully I'm feeling better on the next episode. But I appreciate y'all watching this episode. And keep following us on all social media using the link tree in the description below. Happy holidays, folks. Peace out till then.